June 2nd, 2024. I go out. Some guy shows up. We got a phone call. What is this that we're allowing people to be drug being raped? We'd never approve of that. Agent John did. You wanted the agent that told on me. May 20th, 24, about 3:05. Hampton Inn on Bedmore, North Canton. They got cameras in there. My phone's tapped from the police. I go in and I ask my house manager to wait while I get a cup of coffee, go upstairs to the lobby. He walks in with another guy and says, I heard they're doing all this for Savannah, of all things. And I told them if she was going to insult our women, I didn't care what happened to her. See, that's the crazy crap they told Apostolic Church of Barberton before I called him back after the hotline. That he told them he was going to defraud me and he was never going to help me. I told you. After the guy threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle, and David held me down, how he hired 2 men to kill me and 1 to shoot me if I ran, to slit my throat, stab me in the heart, and 1 to shoot me if I ran. Okay? Didn't hang up on Terry's phone call. She still don't know, I know. The church has taken up $25,000 to have me murdered. And it was Keith Bishop, Strange, and Ron. Those people actually have that phone call. Had her on speaker. Because Ron wants me dead. Because he's manipulating people, using Strange's lie and trying to get sympathy out of it. Has nothing to do with him. Okay? And they hired 2 men to kill me. Dave holds me down how he hired the 2 men to kill me and 1 to shoot me if I ran. And he had already mentioned September 3rd through 6th of 18 that him and Jack had this plan since March. That's Savannah's dad. Because I wouldn't give up everything willingly. Okay, and then the What a Shame guy showed up at Walmart 62. And after that guy threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle, and I got away from him. Okay, and the Pizza Hut lady got paid to watch me. And then Dave bragged that night, my girlfriend's rich and powerful. Her family owns a place you won't be able to withstand. And I told him, it's not a communist country. Nobody owns a place. It's not. And if people would stop acting like it's a communist country, it's not. It's insanity of any of this ever happening in the United States of America. Total insanity. The disgrace of our legal system. This should have been nipped the first day. Okay? And after Dave did that, I took a day and I prayed. And I called the FBI hotline. Then the next day, they had drugged me up so bad that I couldn't wake up all the way. The phone's ringing. And I let it go to voicemail. Okay? Had to stagger, holding onto the wall to the bathroom. Stagger to the kitchen, get it something to drink, and get back in bed. And I kept crying, saying I can't. I don't know why. Listen to the voicemail. This is Agent da-da-da. Call me back. I can't. And I'm falling back to sleep. Second day, I'm not much better. Third day, I'm sitting on the front porch, holding my head. I feel drunk, and I don't drink. What's wrong with me? It's a sign of a roofie wearing off. A date rape drug, amnesia drugs. They make you sick when they wear off. Okay? All right. I get enough air in my face, and one of my witnesses, Sarah, I call her and I ask her if she'll witness for me. Of course, Karen is getting darker and scary the way she's talking about it. So I go out and get a card, put that agent's number in it from the voicemail, make an excuse to go down the mall. Her manager put it in her locker. We go up to Apostolic Church of Barberton. Paul Paymer got in Dave's face. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. I walk off, and he's still screaming at him, how dare you bring the FBI up here with threats on her life. Women walk up. He knows she's being drugged, beaten, raped, and he said he didn't care. I had bruises all over me, throwing up, heart racing, and a severe personal infection. I lost 18 pounds from being drugged up so bad within 2 months. Okay? About 2.5 months, I lost 18 pounds. All right. And my heart's sinking in my stomach. Is that what's going on? Where I thought it was the well water. It was so dirty, it looked like poop water. I thought just washing in it was making me that sick. It was that toxic. I go in and I sit down, and they follow me in and sit down behind me. He knows she's being drugged, beaten, raped. He said he didn't care. If she was going to be faking she was sick and faking she got well, that family was grieving. Strangest lie. And it was 6 months after a traffic accident I had nothing to do with. And his baby lied to cover up his son's adultery. Okay? Oh, you're faking over the last 4 years. Yeah, right. It's documented medical malpractice and documented medication errors. They were ripping off my insurance, making me sick on purpose, all lying. It's called overcare. Back in the 2000, they called it insurance fraud. Okay? They use your insurance company as a checking account they can just drain. Okay? Make people sick, do unnecessary procedures. People were dying and the government started cracking down on them. They still do it. They call it overcare now. Crooked doctors. Okay? He said, and then they said, he said if she was going to be faking she was sick and faking she got well, that family was grieving, he didn't care what happened to her. And if she was going to insult their women, he was going to turn her back over to him, and he didn't care what happened to her. Can you imagine an agent saying that? Dave comes in, let's go. Dave told Danny he talked to that agent at that church. David gets on the truck, you call the FBI on me? I'd have killed you myself. And he starts peeling out of the church parking lot, punching me in the truck. Went for a loaded gun. I put my hand on the console. He knocks it off and he's swinging at me until I almost jumped out on the highway. I ran for one and got home. I called that agent back the next morning. Record a line. There was police up there. They witnessed him telling on me. That's where the cops say, we all know that guy told on you before you called him back. I told him somebody told on me the night before. He calls me a liar. I tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle. He's like, you liar. I said, well, he tried to kidnap me before. Terry Coberly's seen him. I was getting ready to say Terry's seen him. Okay? When he said, oh, come on now. I have met with that family in my office. This is just making up shit. Trying to manipulate people into killing people for him. It had nothing to do with her father killing their son in a traffic accident, running a stop sign into a semi. And a minister making up something 6 months later after after the traffic accident I had nothing to do with. I told you, all my family physicians told me it was a medicine making me sick, and they were doing it on purpose, getting kickbacks from the drug companies and wanting to do unnecessary procedures. And they were known for lying, known for falsely diagnosing people, getting kickbacks from the drug companies from $200 to $1,000 per false prescription, making you sick so you have to come back, sending you to their associates and friends that were known for doing the same thing, and then make you sick enough to do unnecessary procedures, to turn them into the state, get an attorney and sue them. There's nothing wrong with you, but your muscles are locked up. It's all induced from the medication they have you on. Dr. Eli agreed Got me on fentanyl patches, muscle relaxers in over 9 months. The brain swelling left. The heart went back into rhythm. My heart's still damaged. The valves are enlarged. My thyroid, my adrenal gland started working again. Okay? And the swelling, the massive swelling, slowly went down. I learned to walk on numb feet. Okay? Now, I started in November of 2002. And I was almost well in April of 2003. May 3rd, 2003, we're all at home. There was a church baseball game. Brian Laney showed up and told us that Phil was the lead car and everybody was running late. And no one could believe that he didn't even try to stop. He blew through that stop sign into a semi, killed him and Tyler both showing off. Come July, I finished getting all the way well. And in November 2003, my sister Linda is married to Strange's kid, Tim. And she was out one day seeing him with Katie. So when he'd leave, she started following him. And she came up to me at church on a Wednesday night. I was following him again. I got caught. I think they thought it was you. Be careful. I'm sorry. I'm like, great, thanks. Well, Strange made up that lie that Sunday. Discredited me, got rid of me. November of 2003. 6 months after a traffic accident I had nothing to do with. They had nothing to do with 6 to 10 surgeries over 2.5 years. False diagnosis and those doctors making me sick for about a year and a half, and 9 months of slowly getting well. Okay? Nothing to do with nothing. So when Strange said, oh, you were faking through all that 4.5 years? When Dave even told him it was a medication that was making me sick? In November of 2002. Okay? Don't give fentanyl to fakers. My muscles were locked tight. Okay? It's Strange's baby lie. Had nothing to do with the Vegas. Just went to the church. He could have told him I was a bank robber, stripper. Had nothing to do with her father pulling an arrogant stunt and blowing through a stop sign into a semi, showing off in front of people, killing himself and their kid. 6 months later, he makes up a lie. Oh, you were faking through that? Their kid had been dead for 6 months. Had nothing to do with them. And them trying to pull that in to their situation and manipulate people to feel sorry for them more is sick. My neighbor Becky, her husband died a little over a year ago. And I said, Becky, she said, Karen, this whole situation of them saying that and doing that to you is insane. I said, well, it's like as if when Harry died, her husband, that Amy, my one neighbor, is in a wheelchair. 6 months later, if someone told you Amy was faking, would you have heard someone try to kill her, drug beat, rape her? She said that's insanity. She had nothing to do with Harry dying. Exactly. And it don't matter what people say. Okay? Now, getting back to the recorded line, I told him someone told on me. He called me a liar. I told him about the guy that threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle. He called me a liar. I said he tried to kidnap me before. And before I could tell him Terry's seen him, he's like, oh, come on now. I've met with that family in my office that lost their kid in a traffic accident. I had nothing to do with it. And all those church people, and I know they're trying to kill you because you were faking you were sick and faking you got well. Well, that family was graven. It's like I really was sick before. You liar. It's documented medical malpractice and documented medication errors. After 2.5 years of surgeries, my muscles locked up in those crackpots. Falsely diagnosed me and almost killed me. And it took me 9 months to get well. And I had to work my ass off to get well. Okay? He said, and I know they're trying to kill you because you were faking you were sick and faking you got well while that family was grieving. I said, I really was sick. Was there a camera above the bench or not when you heard that guy's voice? I don't know. You don't know? You say you're lying or I'll arrest you. And I'm like, what? He said, I said, I'll put you in jail. Now you say it, I'll put you in jail. You hear me? I'll arrest you. It's like, fine, whatever. Ha, 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 ha. He let a serial killer go. Kidnapper for the human traffickers. And the authorities knew what he looked like. He'd already killed Lori's family member, my one coworker, and dismembered her while she was alive. Had people show up and laugh in Lori's face how they murdered her. Florida human trafficker and Texas actually do dismember people. So, still think you're funny, FBI agent John? He's like, now I want you to say you're faking you were sick. Faking, and I said I really was sick. You liar. I've had that family in my office that lost their kid in the traffic accident that's just manipulating people to feel sorry for them and to kill people for them. Because they're evil, right? Those people that are making up shit that has nothing to do with them, but trying to control people, those people, you arrested them for their part, right? He's like, and you need to realize what you've done. And I don't blame them for trying to kill you, for faking you were sick and faking you got well. It's like I really was sick. It takes a moron to fall for that. A moron. It's like I really was sick before. He's like, you either say it or I'll leave you there. I said, they've tried to kill me, so. They're going to try to kill me, so then you say it or I'll leave you there. I start begging this bastard for my life. And he's like, you either say it or I'll leave you there. I'm like, please don't let him kill me. Say it or I'll leave you there. It's like, fine, whatever. Ha, 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 ha. What did he just confess to? He told on me. Apostolic Church of Barberton, there was over 300. There's over 300 at 200 to 300 at Stranges and the same at Blaylocks. He told the average of 500 to 900 people before he spoke to me after the hotline. Everybody knew, including Dave. And he confessed. Now I want you to tell me why the FBI would help a person like you. Well, they're going to try to kill me, so. They've tried to kill me, so. Give me a real reason. The guy yells out the scam of the shower scene. Pete is Alex. Okay? Pete is Alex. Okay? Where Dave told Danny he hired Pete on his own. You can't hire a hitman. Can't hire a stalker. It's a 10-year sentence. It's racketeering. You want to go and drug me, rape? It's racketeering. It's a 20-year sentence. If you will hire a hitman to stalk someone, it's a 10-year sentence. They get hurt, it's 20. If they die, it's life. He can't hire a stalker. It's a 10-year sentence. He said, we could always use Pete's tape of Weird with Yourself, the shower scene. Like the cops were laughing, we always knew that was a shower scene of washing in the other room photoshopped. We always knew. Okay? And it's not funny, you can tell she was drugged when they said that they drugged her and told her to say it before. Okay? I said, what are you talking about? No, the only Pete I know is my brother Medina. They were laughing at me for my rapist. Savannah's Facebook friend, Alex in a beard. The one that followed and ran to me. Then later on tried to kill me again. I got a dent in the back of my head about the size of a ball-peen hammer. 12/21/18 in protective custody. There's a tape of him trying to murder me again. Beats and rapes me, leaves me for dead. Crushes my skull. They got him straight out for attempted murder that day. Bragged it was him and Bob Evans. Okay? On January 4th of 19 that it was him. Okay? Then he says something about Pete's tape of something else. Now, I've never met him. The only Pete I know is my brother Medina, and it's Alex, Savannah's friend. They're making fun of me for my rapist. My rapist. That I don't know who it is. Some guy breaking in, stabbing me with needles in my sleep, or slipping something in my drink so I'm sleepwalking. He's beating, raping me, covering me with bruises. I'm throwing up, heart racing, severely infected, and not know what on earth is wrong with me. And I'm blaming the dirty well water I'm washing in, and I'm going to the doctor, what on earth is wrong with me? Because they're amnesia drugs. Back in the 70s, they called it slipping a Mickey. Now they call it roofing something when you're sleepwalking. Okay? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I bet you're going to say you don't know anything about this doctor selling your information. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I thought, isn't one of the lady where some other lady was using my insurance and we reported insurance fraud? She stayed in the hospital. She had procedures done. She had all kinds of crazy crap done. And we got stuck with the copays. I kept calling the hospital and telling them it wasn't my bills, da-da-da-da-da. Still got stuck with them. Okay? The factory was even looking at Dave for being part of the insurance fraud. Okay? That they figured he knew that lady. Because how would she get it? Because back then you didn't have to show ID. Okay? So, I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Here, December 30th, 23, Altman Hospital announces my God, nobody's to talk to these people. They had some guy impersonate a doctor from Altman Hospital selling people's information. The hospital gets sued. Oh, the state could shut them down for HIPAA violations. And it's just some guys impersonating a doctor. And no one's to ever back those doctors from before. My God, they were all just lying, ripping off our insurance. And it was a medication making her sick. And they even lied so bad to the point they said she had brain tumors and there was nothing wrong with her. And no one's to ever back somebody just ripping off somebody's insurance, making them sick with medication errors, and lying like that. And there was nothing wrong with her, but her muscles locked up. Cops walked by. All those doctors lied before? He said yes. It was the medicine making her sick. It was medication errors. None of this is funny. Okay? So I tell him, I don't know. He's laughing at me like a jackass. Stop, she don't know. Well, apparently you didn't know either. And nobody's so stupid. HIPAA violations, your doctor can't even talk to them. They go to jail, they're to be arrested. They don't have a signed release? Mm-mm. Okay. All right. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Give me a real reason. So I tell him about my brother-in-law, Craig. He's like, well, I could take you somewhere, but there's no money with it. I don't have money to start. He's like, well, if you agree to get information on Dave and the churches, I'll open an informant program. I thought, well, Katie's breaking to 3 people in the mall and been them trying to kill me with 4 attempts. It's not going to last long. Comes with $5,000 a month. Open an account today. Okay? And you'll have a life of peace as an informant. Nothing legally stated, dated against you again. And only for you would we ever do this for. We'll always put it back as if it never happened. And you can't be legally charged for anything again for working this case. Admit to no wrongdoing. And I'll take care of everything in the end. But if you try to tell someone unless you're crazy and no one will ever help you. 14th Amendment, you cannot withhold protection. You cannot seize somebody's money but do a process of the law. You have to be found guilty and sued for it. Never happened. He just flat out stole my money. They said he stole it on the first day. He stole $340,000 now. Possibly $10 million, where I gave him the information that I got out of Michael Peterson of smuggling oil into the U.S. Bragging to me, sent me proof. I sent it in to everyone, and Drakasamy was arrested for smuggling oil out from underneath his government. Some investigators said they called down and asked about Michael Peters' shipment, and it wasn't legit, and they got Drakasamy arrested. There was a $10 million reward. Okay? That's how not funny this is. If he entered living and housing expensive, he could have stole $500,000. On top of the 10. Okay, that's how not funny this is. I have gave you all the examples from my neighbor Mike getting reviewed in a bar, didn't know how he got home, didn't know he had money in his pocket, and then looked at me and tried to tell me he was a New York cop and thought I was pretty. I'm like, go sleep that off. He was talking on his head. Back in the 1960s, they called it, well, they had LSD. The hippies would take it, walk around hallucinating. Some of them killed people, they killed themselves, and other ones just lost. Some of them got raped. Some of them just walked around hallucinating. In the 70s, they called it slipping somebody a Mickey. Putting amnesia drug in somebody's drink or coffee, and then they'd be sleepwalking. Now they call them mind-controlled drugs and roofies. I went to work at Ohio Catholic Bank up in Macedonia, and I went upstairs, and one of the managers was complaining. Her drug test, she had so many drugs in her system, it would have knocked out a horse, and she's walking around. They told us that she's part of an FBI case, and no one's allowed to say a word. They were keeping me so drugged up there, I lost another 70. The first month of the case, an old man came up to me. For every idle word you tell on us, I'll turn it on you. You try to leave Dave, I'll list you a child molester. I'm like, who are you? I was in Walmart 62 by Wood Forest, in front of all the cops. They had watched him break in and stab me with a date rape drug. He's like, you know that bruise on your leg? It was way up on my thigh. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I use sodium pentothal on you. Sodium pentothal is an anesthetic. It's spy flick movie stuff that they took the name of an anesthetic. And the side effect, you'll admit to Pearl Harbor, you'll admit to anything. You'll lie your ass off. So they called it True Serum. Sick joke. But it shuts down your airway. So bad they outlawed it in the country. It's called research if you're gonna lie, honey. Not even allowed in the country. I use sodium pentothal on you. He stabbed me with a date rape drug. It's called needling someone. Okay? He said, you know what you told me? Now, I have not seen him before. He stabbed me in my sleep, got in my house, got in my bedroom and stabbed me in my sleep with a date rape drug. Told me, say you were wearing this one nightgown, you bent over properly once, they accidentally seen your butt and you had a life of pain? And you try to leave Dave, I'll list you a child molester for that? I got away from that freak, went home to a legally booked house, had Dave verify I had a grandma nightgown on, underwear and a house coat, and they only made fun of the back of my knees. He changed it under drugs. It was their whole plan. A couple Sundays back, I was in Myers, North Canton, okay? A lady came in and took care of a lot of it. A lot of it. She said I talked to those police officers that watch her. They actually work her case. And they said that it's ridiculous for anybody to insult her. She almost died to save children. And they always knew she didn't die. Their backup plan were those stalking tapes where they already knew they photoshopped that washing scene, the shower scene in the other room to make her look weird. And they had drugged her and told her to say it before in their stalking tapes. And it was their whole backup plan if she didn't die, trying to extort money and things out of her. So you're saying FBI agent John isn't that smart? June 7th, 23. I'll tell you what, I was in Coles and Belden. Some guy walked in and said, Will found the tape of them making fun of him. Where the hell has he been? Stark County Sheriffs were talking about him months ago. We all know they made fun of that agent John for falling for all this. June 7th, 23. Walmart 62, 10:11 in the morning. The sheriffs have it. FBI agent John fell for the stun of tapes before. Oh, come on now. That FBI agent actually fell for a stun of tapes before? You're kidding. You mean John actually fell for it? Oh, come on. You mean that FBI agent John actually fell for a stunt of tapes before and it was only a stunt? You're kidding. Is that what's going on? FBI agent John fell for the stunt of tapes before. Ha 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 ha. I go to leave about noon. One of the officers assigned to me walk out. We found Jody paying for the harassment today. Lighthouse Tabernacle and the cartel was mocking the FBI. Like the Stark County Sheriffs in uniform, we all know they made fun of that agent John for falling for all this. July 9th, 23, Trinity Gospel. They dared the cartel dared the FBI. The FBI wouldn't dare fix this after what one of their agents did. They dared him. It was September, October of 23. I'm up on Forest Grove Drive. Lady walks by and says even the drug dealers they hired to help out in this, a lot of them don't even find any of this funny. She'd do anything wrong? He said no. The drug dealers already confessed they photoshopped everything on her before. And they made fun of the FBI for falling for it. Are they going to do anything about it? We don't know. None of this is funny. Went to her ex-husband, asked if it was a medication error that made her sick before. And he said yes. And they did tell him to sue those doctors. And he let all those people hurt her and didn't say a word. None of this is funny. None of it's funny. It takes a sick mind. Now, see, on my other tape where I told you Katie was making up crazy stuff in 2011, her and her mom, and Dave called him pathetic. I told you. It was so crazy. I'm going down to Blaylock's. And I went down to Blaylock's. And people were making up crazy crap on me. Now, I haven't went to Lighthouse Tabernacle in 8 years. Okay? And Dave's still going over there. And I went over there for like 2 or 3 services to find out what's going on. Some lady came up to me and said, I heard you got in it with Katie. It's like, oh, Katie. You know what I mean? It's like, I said hi to her maybe once or twice in the mall with Dave. What are you talking about? And she said, is that what's going on? And she started laughing. Okay. Well, I went out. Francis lives on Avis Street. I went over and I said, Francis, go for a walk with me. I said, what is going on? Why are these people making up crazy stuff on me? She said, Mary hates you. I said, how could Mary hate me? I've not seen her in 8 years. I got to think, I'm like, where have I seen her? I haven't seen her in 8 years. She started busting out laughing, looked like the Grinch that stole Christmas. Is that what's going on? What's going on? You don't know? Know what? Never mind. And started laughing. Jim Pritchett goes to Blaylock's. He said, I have to work with that brother English all day long. He says how drunk and drugs and you're wild and crazy. I come to church and you're fine. I said, I haven't seen him in 8 years. Stop listening to him. He's just making it up. I'll tell you what. It got to the point, this old lady came up to me and said, I heard your husband left you. 2011. I said, he didn't leave me. And she said, I heard you're in denial. I said, ma'am, my husband goes to work every morning, comes home every night. He didn't leave me. I heard you're in denial, honey. I said, ma'am, my husband goes to work every day, comes home, and is home every night. I don't know what you're talking about. And he never left me. You're in denial. I said, ma'am, I'm still doing his laundry and washing his clothes and underwear, and I'm going to stop washing his clothes and his underwear if he left me. And I started laughing. I said, he didn't leave. You're in denial. I was working at Wood Forest, okay? She comes up, me and Dave are standing there talking. She's like, I'm so glad you came back to Karen. And I said, Dave, that was one of the lies. You were supposed to left me. He said, ma'am, I've never left Karen. I said, I told you everything's a lie. She's like, what? I don't care who you are in the church. You can't lie like this. I told you. People were saying that Dave left me. And he was still at home. And they said, now I have Dave taped. I said, remember one time I came home from church and you were swinging at my head and chased me out of the house? I never seen anybody. And I actually called Danny. I said, he got someone in there? He said, no, Mom. I swear he's just mean and crazy. Well, see, he starts laughing on my recording. I said, I never seen anybody. He said, Karen, I never had anybody in my home. I was just angry. There was no one to see, and he starts chuckling. I was just angry that night. You know what Katie told people? I caught him in bed, and I chased her around supposed to have chased her around the bedroom with a knife, out of the house with a knife, and down the street with a knife. I would have been arrested. Never happened. That's where we went to walk into Macy's. I'm like, Dave, I mean, I busted out laughing when people told me that one. I'm like, that never happened. She was never in my house. I never seen her. And we went out to the mall and we were talking. And I said, Dave, why is that girl making all this up? He said, Karen, I said, I asked him, I said, are you cheating on me with that girl? He said, Karen, she's pathetic. Making up that a married man would leave his wife for her. She's pathetic, making all that stuff up for people to get people's attention. She's pathetic. She's just lying. And I said, Dave, are you cheating on me with that girl? We're at the back end of Macy's. She works down at Ashcroft and Oak. She could not hear in the back of Macy's. We're by the purses. And I said, are you cheating? He said, Karen, I'd rather kiss a cow's butt than that bad, ugly heifer. Well, I giggled at his mean joke. Just me and him there. Now, can she hear us? No. And all I did is laugh at his mean joke. So if she ever found out about that joke, he told her. Okay? And it was his mean joke. Matter of fact, because she was making up such crazy stuff, I wouldn't even let him walk on the same side of the kiosk. I made him walk on the other side so she couldn't say we said anything walked by. Because she was being pathetic, wanting people's attention. Okay? Now, who was I supposed to be mean to? Was it Precious? That was making up shit for people's attention before? Huh? that I only said hi to? What was I supposed to say to her? I didn't even swear for years because we were going to church. Didn't even swear. I now swear like the cops that watch me. But I didn't swear for years and years. I used to say fudgesicle and doggone it. That was my swear words. Because we didn't go to church, we didn't swear. Didn't drink, didn't do drugs. I didn't even swear. Now I'll tell you what, the gunshot night, when I ran from Dave and the neighbor tried to grab me, the guy with the black hair and long black beard, and Dave screaming at me, having an affair, and I turn around, and I said, never seen him before in life, and Dave passes me and says, I have to check the trail cameras to find out how he made it out in the dark and started running where the lights were crossing. When he wasn't home, I picked up a stick and started swearing. Cold-blooded murder will bring some swear words out of you. I hadn't even sworn in years. Get the idea? We live in Stark County. Stark County, if you Google, there's 350,000 people. The only difference between us and like Columbus or Cleveland, we don't have any skyscrapers. We're all just packed on top of each other. There's Massillon, there's Canton, there's North Canton, there's Alliance, there's Louisville, and then a whole bunch of townships. Stark County has a massive amount of people. I don't go to their church for 15 years. I don't have their phone numbers. I don't know where they live. I don't know what they say among themselves. I don't see them. I have my own life. At times I had my career. Otherwise I had my family, my grandchildren, and Dave. I had my own life. I didn't have to sit around and be pathetic. Trying to make up stuff on people that you don't see, just trying to cause drama among each other. And they all feed off of everything. I had a minister tell me that Strangers Church was nothing but a wolf pack years ago. I told you, May 20th, 24, Hampton Inn on Bedmore. They got cameras in there, about 3:05. I have my house manager stay with our client downstairs while I go up and get a coffee for a start. I go in and start getting a coffee. He walks in. I heard they're doing all this for Savannah, of all things, and I had told them if she was going to insult their women, I didn't care what happened to her. I told you when I was 5, somebody insulted me. Came home crying, little girl. My dad said, it's just words. You don't cry over just words, Karen. Don't play with him no more. Don't talk to him. BM5 had a little baby drama. You either quit crying or I'll give you something to cry about. And then I'm going to ground you. You're going to sit in your room and think of how not worth it was to cry over somebody just saying something mean to you. Now, how many people as parents, your 5 to 8-year-old comes up, they got in a fight with one of their friends, said a bunch of mean words. First, you console them, oh, it's okay, they're just being mean, don't play with them anymore. They don't cut it out, knock it off, or I'll give you something to cry about. And if they go into a temper tantrum, you need a nap or you're grounded. Go sit in your room because you're way out of hand. Could you imagine a 40 to 60-year-old woman crying to an FBI agent? She called me bad words. Man, ever dug me raped. Ah! The insanity of that. You can't feel sorry for somebody acting like a spoiled 5-year-old. And then the Vegas, the whole thing of it is, she had nothing to do with your kid's death. Just because your minister said something about her, you don't know what was wrong with her. Huh? You can't just kill somebody. And you can't want sympathy because somebody said something mean about somebody. It had nothing to do with your tragedy. You're making up stuff to kill people. Racketeering is drugs, kidnapping, rape, and a whole bunch of other things. Racketeering. Dave can't hire Pete on his own. Where he told Danny to hire Pete on his own, and Pete is Alex in a beard. Now, he can't hire anybody. I've talked to sheriffs out of this area, the Portage County Sheriffs. I have talked to a criminal attorney, someone from the Stark County Prosecutor's Office, and the Louisville Police. Dave can't hire Pete on his own. He hired the drug cartel. That's who was in my home. What was it, April 24th to April 28th of 24? Walmart on the Strip is an oh my God. And oh my God. Some guy walks in next to me and my client. I listened to that recorded line. That agent did confess to telling on her before, and he did talk to her like that. They better take care of it. Okay? I get my client away from him. Get in the food aisle. Officer in uniform. Karen, we all know nobody drugs anybody but the cartel. And it was a cartel in your home before. And we all know that guy told on you before. And I want to know how that guy heard it. He went after him. Get my client over by the ladies' clothing aisle. That Kurt that the Stark County Sheriffs made fun of in May of 21 for falling for this. He tells everybody stay out of it. Some guy's on the phone. Kurt, none of this is funny. They have that agent admitting he was in it with Dave and stole their money. That he told on her before. And they have him taped saying all that. And these people that they made everything up on her before. Everybody stay out of it. None of this is funny. Now, what do they just say? Everything's made up on me? And it was a drug cartel. Okay? Pam Strange, Savannah's mom, walks by with her granddaughter. Uncle Dave said he had somebody tape her for. Just witnessed against Dave. We go to leave. Oh, they'll verify it. Blah, 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 blah. The drug scam. I go to leave. People bust out laughing. Her family was linked to that following Randy. And now they're saying that they were in it with Dave with those stocking tapes. It took her long enough to confess. Her kids better not verify anything on those tapes before, because they've already admitted that they drugged her and told her to say it before. And they photoshopped everything in those stocking tapes. Otherwise, they were in it with Dave the whole time trying to kill her and cover it up. See, that was another thing on the recorded line. When he got done making fun of me for Pete, he asked me if I talked to any law enforcement up there. I said the only law enforcement I've ever talked to was August 8th, of 18, I had a light in the security system. 2 officers showed up. I called them silly or stupid. They told me it looked like an alien orb or an angry spirit. He's like, you're kidding, right? And I'm like, no. And then they told me to buy a dog and let a dog handle it if someone come on my property again. They don't want bothered out here. He's like, you're kidding. I said, matter of fact, I've not even had my neighbors in my home. I've only had repair guys and installation guys. I've never had anybody in my home. I don't know what you're talking about. Is that what's going on? They were slipping stuff in my drink when I was out of the room and stabbing me with date-rape drugs. So I'd be sleepwalking and tell me to say something stupid and photoshopping stocking tapes. By the drug cartel. I was talking to Josh, and he mentioned, when I told him I was dating this one guy, this weird Eric, I said he used to be a Massillon police officer and then a sheriff, and now he's a paralegal. He said, well, Dad said some guy in Massillon was helping him out, and he's no longer there, and that's when he fled the country. That nobody could ever say a word to you. What would you say to me? It was a drug cartel scam. People coming up to me, and that, like on Friday in Hartville and Subway, we heard this whole thing is a drug scam to cover up attempted murder. And she's a rape victim. They said the police watch her look at all those cars driving by. Nobody better say a word. It's a big drug scam from the drug cartel. Now, you tell me, where is any of this funny? He told Apostolic Church of Barberton he was going to defraud me. He told 500 to 900 people. I called the FBI hotline. I'm not even listed in for me yet. Confessed on a recorded line that he told on me, made fun of me, was going along with all their scams and making fun of a rape victim. Under God's green earth, he's a cop, a federal police officer. Under no reason are they allowed to let somebody be drug beat and raped. And especially the cartel doing it and running a drug scam for him for an call. And their pathetic excuses are uncalled for. And anybody helping out, how stupid are I? As a victim, I look at people, where do you think it's funny? I have people make fun of me for being raped. Publicly. They sold videos of it to children. Never been tortured? You think you're just going to die that night. July to September 19, midnight to 3. The guy raping me, while the other one smothered me till I pass out and they beat a confession out. And there's 3 men hurting me. He's a fake FBI agent. There's a good chance that that's Savannah's old drug dealing boyfriend, or that guy Chris they said they raced out of the room. Faith Family Church would know who he is, because the drug cartel was at Faith Family Church, and Savannah was telling everybody she was Michelle, Pete's daughter, and Alex was there too, and the Florida human traffickers, and seen with them. Huh? And they were telling everybody they were FBI there, working my case. And she told Faith Family Church she could have anybody drug beat and rape. She just had to ask them. She thinks she's a mafia bitch. Because before she was 18, she had a drug dealer's baby. Where Kaylee said, well, you know about Savannah. I know of her, but I don't know her. What do you mean you don't know her? Why would I? She's an 18-year-old kid. Sits with her parents. Her parents went to that church a long time ago. They come visit. I see her with them. I've heard of her. I know of her, but I don't know her. Why? What do you mean you don't know her? Why would I? Never had trouble with her parents before. What do you mean you don't know her? Why would I? Well, you know, her old boyfriend, the baby daddy, is really big in drugs. He's a big drug dealer. Got the drug cartel involved. Ran a drug scam for him. What's really not funny? The fentanyl came from Texas as men showed up. The Florida human traffickers. Henry Mafia and his group. And then a bunch of other drug cartels from California to Buffalo, New York to Michigan, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Georgia human traffickers all showed up under police surveillance. That's where my friend Maddie and I had dinner on January 20th, 23, 40, 50 cars falling around. Half those men came in dress shirts. I got a friend on the police department. I thought, you brought them? They knew about that case that agent opened with you. See, it's all under police surveillance. That agent opened a real case with statements, with a real judge's order. The sheriffs have been taping this. Huh? And the feds. All these people saying who they work for, their crimes. Got them. Just had to get them all together. Police are getting ready to take care of this. Not releasing a lot of information. They knew about the Texas group involved in your case. I went to Kingsman, for we all work for the King for Texas. We are his men. He sent us here to help. He's a drug lord. Dave hired us. He's a fentanyl king. U.S. military Iraqi translator. That's where the Middle Eastern guys, women in jobs. Dark web malware, fentanyl king. Hacker. Photoshopping's main symbol. Okay? Is that what they called themselves? And they found 35 people hogtied in a railroad car, African American people. They were taking them and shooting them and throwing their bodies along railroad tracks. There's a retired judge in Texas involved, and they went down and crushed him in this human trafficking scam, and he killed himself. There's another judge, retired judge in another state involved in this. They're going to use that case to get your case to get those drug traders, human trafficking people. And they're getting ready to take care of this and not releasing a lot of information. You have so much hurt and pain in your eyes. And then he drills me and tells me I'm stuttering. And they left that night. 3 weeks later, they did the 800 people sweep. Like they said, she was part of a really big bust. February 14th, 23 was a big bust. April 8th, 23, 2 of the drug cartel guys show up in Hartville, Giant Eagle. If Will used her case to infiltrate our gang, tell them to give your money, we're out of here. You know, the cops walked by, we actually did start laughing at them. Karen's will, Karen around the house is still open. When the case first started, there was 2 guys that looked like my son Josh. He showed up. For this whole thing is a bet between 2 gentlemen. One bet that he could push her to, be so cruel, push her to suicide. The other one bet that he could make her give up everything in life and have other people participate. Okay? They're using her as a pawn. That means a con, a scam. Fighting over this area. Winner takes all. The other ones are Russian. I told you how to find out who he was. That's where I went up to Hartville. I went into that one auto place in January this year. And they said, you know, those human traffickers that were here. I'm like, yeah, I know about them. He's like, the people they were grabbing in Ohio, they were selling them in the Hartville Hotel. Then a bunch of police got together and raided it. He adopted one of the young girl's little boys. So he went and grew up in foster care. He said, you ever see a tall, thin, white guy with whitish blonde hair, clean cut, expensive dress shirts, sleeves rolled up, dress slacks, about our age? It's like, yes. You've seen him in your life? Yes, several times. You don't know who he is? I'm like, so? Are you okay? He's like, I've had strokes before, and I'm like, thinking I'm going to call 911. I've been around serial killers. People that their presence that makes your breath go cold just being near them. They're so evil. Okay? And he's holding his chest, and I'm like, are you okay? You don't realize who that was. He said that was a guy that was selling all those people in Ohio. And I'm like, I thought it was the M13. He said, no, that was the Russian drug lord. For the bet between 2 gentlemen, they're drug lords. I said, I thought that was M13. He said, they may have been helping him, but it was him. And you've seen him and you're still alive. I said, I've seen him several times. So did the cops. I thought he was a police officer. My bad. He didn't have a name tag on. 2 old Russians show up before I leave Dave. And you could tell they're Russian the way they were talking. And they say the guy's first name and said he had his men watching. That was the second drug lord. I'm going to upload this. None of this is funny. And everybody, like, even the criminal attorney, we all know you're sleepwalking with roofies. Those amnesia drugs. Talk to sheriffs out there, want to know what's wrong with our local police. We all know about those state rape drugs. You're sleepwalking. They're mind controlling drugs. They're so bad, some of them, they could have drugged up the people and told them to take down the towers, and they did it. They control you with no memory. We all know about them. Criminal attorney knew about it. Prosecutor's office is big fraud scheme. Photoshopping and washing and roofing at somebody. Done by the drug cartel and a drug scam. I'm going to upload this.